What up?
What's up?
We back.
Yep, you like my scratches on it?
Those are not your scratches. Don't do that.
What you mean?
Those are not your scratches.
You know you taught me how to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody, those were her scratches. So
there you go.
Let me tell you something about Lynn Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And the Boosie got down with the scratches.
Sure did.
What you doing on?
The 1000.
What's the full name of it?
Pioneer DDJ 1000.
There you go. So
there we go.
You're a DJ now.
All right now.
All right. So what's good? We didn't do a Black History Month thing.
No, we didn't. But why we gotta make it, just stay in 1 month?
Right.
Black History is every single day.
That was a problem I was having with it. Like I didn't want to do it, Like
right.
That's what everybody was doing. I don't think everybody takes it serious. Look at my face. I don't think everybody takes it serious.
Right.
Some people just want to be seen.
Ooh.
Huh?
Woo, 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 woo.
Girl.
Got to be more careful.
Got to be more careful. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should bring that back.
The got to be more careful?
Got to be more careful.
There you go.
I was getting ready to say, I didn't know we took it away.
Oh, we haven't used it in a while.
Because it's part of me.
Because we was in San Diego and then we trying all this other stuff.
San Diego.
To San Diego. But I wasn't in the mode to do the Black History Month thing.
Right,
I kind of felt like, everybody's doing that.
Right.
I did something a couple of years ago with Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have been the last thing I did. You know what I mean? that's
crazy the way you said that.
What?
I did something a couple of years ago with Black women.
Well, yeah. So I was posting the different shades of black as far as women go, like dark skin, light skin, caramel, bronze, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. And mocha latte.
I just thought it was dope than the usual Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
And the Malcolm X's and whatever hero, civil rights hero.
Right.
And plus I think right now with social media, I don't know if it's about really embodying what this person did or it's more so look at my page. I might be going a little bit too deep, but
okay.
That's all the way it is for me. So what up though?
Not nothing.
We've been going for basically almost a month.
No.
Oh no, we did.
Right. You tripping.
Yeah. We only did one podcast in the month of February.
Right.
We didn't do two.
We didn't do two.
But we back.
We back.
This is the 1st of March.
We're back.
We're back. March 6th is a Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Sunday and we are.
I've been 54 for 30 days.
When you turn 54?
The 6th of February.
Wow. Man, I can't imagine being 54.
You're 54.
What are you talking about?
Okay. You must have fell and bumped your head.
What's 54 backwards? What is 54
45?
backwards? I'm 45.
Ooh. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah. All right.
Come on.
Right.
Let's go on.
Going on.
Move
what?
past that because you're
whatever.
delusional.
Cause you crazy. Question.
Answer.
I've been thinking.
Yep.
I kind of want to get into the whole church thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a touchy subject, but yeah, let's do it.
Well, we're gonna walk that line in the middle a little bit, but I don't think, we're gonna say anything disrespectful.
No.
Nah. It's just, as of lately I've been looking around at, church and what's going on in the world and things of that nature. And me personally, I don't feel the church is a staple in the community like it used to be.
Like it used to be.
When we were growing up, right?
Right.
So the question. Well, what I want to start off by saying, hold on, let me get these lights. I can't see my paper.
Oh, turn the lights on.
Is that a 54?
Yeah.
Okay. So
no, that's a 45, remember?
Yes, 45. So I thought about it. And in my mind I said, a simple expectation of the church.
Okay.
It's like you're writing out your paper in college.
You got to come up with a title.
This is my title.
Did you come up with the title before you came up with before you wrote the body of the paper, or did you write the body of the paper and then the title came later?
Body first.
Yeah, that was how I was too. I'd be like, what?
It was the subject matter was first,
right, and then you think of a title from the subject matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah. So to start it off, let's talk about some of our personal experiences in church.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, I went to church in Selma, Alabama, and you?
Well, different places.
Right.
But I guess, wow, I didn't even think about that.
Your earliest experiences in church were where?
In Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
I guess denomination doesn't matter. We're going to leave that out.
Okay.
Because that's touching something else. But
right. Yeah, in Kentucky, and then Tennessee.
Right.
Yeah, and then Selma, of course.
What church did you go to in Selma?
Ebenezer.
You went to Ebenezer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy about that? Like, I live on First Avenue, and Ebenezer is right around the corner on LeGrand. But when I was younger, it was on Philpott.
Right.
Then they built the newer one, probably the one you went to.
Yeah, I went to the newer one.
I'd never been to.
That's crazy.
I've never been there.
Mm-hmm.
But I always noticed that people loved to go to that church.
I liked it.
I outside of Reverend Reese, the world famous Frederick Douglass Reese, FD Reese. I don't know what else was going on in there, but it seems like it was a place to be. What was your experience like there?
I mean, I liked it. I didn't really get involved with anything. Like, I wasn't in any of the ministries when I was there. So that was during my 10th through 12th grade year. Well, and a little after. But I really didn't get involved with things there. But when I was in Tennessee. But
right.
Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I just, when you said Ebenezer, I'm like, wow, I literally can walk around the corner and I'm there. And I did Boy Scouts there, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. I did everything there, but I never actually went to church there, but Ebenezer Baptist Church, Selma, Alabama, LeGrand. Let me get a round of applause because they seemed like they had a really dedicated congregation, right? But I went to Tabernacle on Broad Street, or Mentor. I mean, we entered on Mentor.
Yeah.
Rhymes. Bars, entered on Mentor.
Oh my goodness.
Enter on Mentor. Enter. Anyway, so we entered on Mentor. The pastor there was Reverend Anderson. When I was a kid, I used to always look at what's the paper they give you where they show you what's going to happen?
The program?
The program. It's been a while. Program, and I would see Reverend L.L. Anderson.
Okay.
Lewis Anderson. And I was so small. Like, that's all I knew.
Right.
Like, $6 Million Man will come on Sunday night. Good Times will come on. I think Good Times came on a Monday.
I think it was Monday.
But the other definite
is that you was going to be in church on Sunday.
Tabernacle.
There you go.
Tabernacle. I'm going to be there.
Right.
And in the beginning, it was not by choice. You had to go. And what used to happen was my mother she didn't go to Sunday school. She went to worship. I got that word from you earlier, it started at 11, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. And I had to go to Sunday school.
Isn't it crazy how most of the time we had to go to Sunday school, but our parents didn't go?
Right. But as I got older, I learned she did that when she was younger.
Right.
You see, my grandmother, who was a member at Green Street Church, Baptist Church in Selma, she was actually at Tabernacle in the younger years for my mother.
Right.
because they live right across the street, right? What was that, Small and Broad? My grandmother lived on that corner. My mother just stayed there. Right, my grandmother ended up going to Green Street.
Okay.
So when were you Sunday school or?
Yeah, in Tennessee. Well, in Kentucky, we was everything.
Right.
Because my great grandmother made everybody go to church.
Right.
So it was Sunday school, morning worship, and sometimes evening. Which
what was it called
was too
in the
much.
evening?
Just evening worship.
So it's like your pastor would do a whole nother sermon over in the evening?
Yeah, normally it wouldn't be the pastor. It would be like the associate pastor or,
okay.
or maybe a guest pastor or something. But that's what we did in Kentucky. But when I was in Tennessee, I went to Sunday school and morning worship. And sometimes I would go back. But the church I went to in Tennessee, my parents didn't go.
Okay.
It was just me and my sister.
So how'd y'all get there?
A bus.
A bus will come and get y'all.
Yes.
Similar experience.
Yes. The church had a bus ministry and it had 6 buses. And the buses had names.
What do you mean?
The buses had names.
Oh, give me an example.
The name of our bus was Soul Buggy.
Soul Buggy.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all give that bus that name?
No.
Or they called it that at the church?
The bus was that name. No, it was written on the bus. It was painted.
What was the name of this church?
Black Oak Heights Baptist Church,
Let's get
Knoxville,
them a
Tennessee.
round of applause because, they out here Soul Buggy in it.
But what's crazy is it wasn't a black church.
Yeah, we have to talk about that on another podcast because you have sort of like this background where sometimes I think it's more white than black. Right? I mean, But yeah, so you went to the church, Sunday school.
Sunday school.
Worship and sometimes evening worship. With me, it was Sunday school and then worship. Then when I got a little older, it was BTU. I don't know if you
we did that. We did that. They also came around and picked us up for that too. But it wouldn't be on the bus because not all the kids that would come on Sunday would go to.
Then you have to be a certain age to go to BTU, right?
Well, they had it separated for the kids and the adults, and you couldn't go to the adult one until you turned 13. I think it was. I think we had to be.
It was
in
around
the
baptizing age.
Sixth grade,
it was around
seventh grade.
baptizing age because that's what I remember.
Yeah,
12 somewhere around.
Yeah,
there.
I got baptized when I was 12.
Yeah,
at Black Oak Heights.
Let me tell you how silly I am. There's a few things like I want to touch about when you're little and the whole enamor, is that the word, of church? Like everything is so grand and mysterious. And it's like the first thing that blew my mind, first Sunday. Was it called communion?
Communion Sunday.
I wanted those crackers and wine so bad.
So bad.
It's like my life was built around it. But
you couldn't get it.
Not until you baptize.
Right. And see, in the church that I was going to, it didn't matter because the kids didn't get to go to the adult morning worship service until you got to a certain age. So they had children's church and you would go to children's church. So you have Sunday school and then where you're separated by basically grade level.
Right.
And then after Sunday school, you go to children's church.
And
so while the kids was at children's church, the adults was in, the regular morning worship. We didn't get to go in there.
Y'all had some sort of organization going on.
Yeah.
Right. But that communion thing.
Right. So it didn't affect us because
I would see it.
But when I used to go to church in Kentucky,
right,
of course, there was no separation because it was just a one-room building with a little kitchen off to the side.
Okay.
So, of course, I would see Communion Sunday.
Well, check this out.
But I couldn't get anything.
Imagine the disappointment when I got it.
Right.
It wasn't wine.
Some churches it was.
Some churches it was, but
that grape juice.
It was Welch's
and
grape juice.
And that little thin. Did y'all have the thin wafers or the little pieces of crackers?
Thin wafer.
Because I've had both.
And why did we want that so bad?
Because that's what the grown-ups was doing.
Yeah.
So we was like, oh, I want to be grown too.
The first time I tasted it, I was like, this is Welch's grape.
This is Welch's grape juice.
Okay.
But I've been in some churches where it was actually wine, and one time when I did get the wine, I wasn't expecting the wine.
Right.
So when I tasted the wine, I was like,
"Ooh, right?
What was that?"
And,
you know how Martin be tapping the
just when he drink the champagne.
Yeah, that's how I wanted to do when I tasted that wine.
It's crazy because I've never had wine in church. I've had people tell me about their church actually had real wine, but I've never had it. Second thing that let's see if it blew you away.
Okay.
What was Third Sundays?
That was Children's Sunday.
I wanted to usher so bad. So bad. I wanted to do that. I just wanted to pass the offering plate.
Offering plate around?
Yeah.
But see, I got to do that in children's church because we ushered.
Wait a minute. Y'all took offerings from kids?
Yeah, we put our little money in. It wouldn't be nothing but like dollars and pen, you know.
A lot of mercy.
Yep.
A lot of mercy.
Yep.
Well, no, but I wanted to do that so bad. And I would watch on first because on the first Sunday, the ushers would have on the white gloves. And
yes.
I'm like, oh, they fresh.
Yeah, they fresh.
I need this in my life. But we talking about, I'm in elementary school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know any better. Now, check this out. Here's one that I did not want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know how at the end of the church, end of the worship, and then they basically open up everything and they tell the person to come forward?
Yeah, when they open the doors of the church?
Didn't want to do that. It was embarrassing.
You didn't want to go forth?
Nope. Didn't want to do it. But I had to do it.
That's when they say when you want to come for prayer and everything, or if you know. Baptized. You want to be baptized, or you're looking to join the church.
Yeah. See, everybody can't see us. But on that day, when Reverend Anderson did the doors of the church open, and it was that time to get baptized, my mother was sitting in the choir like this.
She was eyeballing you,
oh,
huh?
Yeah.
Like, you better take your butt up to the front of the church.
More like you better get your ass up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I did not want to do that. I'm going to put that at a tie. Now, we're just touching things in church and our memories and stuff, but I'm going to put like, tied with that is every Easter, every Christmas, every whatever, there's a speech.
You didn't want to participate in the speeches?
Nope, didn't want to do it. And I'm going to get to the reason why I did them. But, it's like I was telling you the other day, in my mind, I'm sitting here right now going, we three kings of Orient. Oh my God. Like, it's stuck in my mind, right? Or some Easter speech, any of the holiday activities. I mean, we had a conversation the other day and I told you, I said, yo, I used to be tight because I never found an Easter egg.
Right.
Never.
Which is crazy.
Never.
Which is crazy. Activities that we did in church, oh my goodness, we had so much fun with the activities that we did. I can remember we had a buggy race, a beetle buggy, whatever you want to call it, race. And what we did was, which is crazy, the old VW Beetles, right? The Volkswagen, right? So we decorated them. So the children were broken down into teams. There were 6 teams. And we actually decorated the cars and we raced them. As far as when you say race them, we pushed them. So somebody would get in and steer. And
actual car?
We pushed them. Yeah. And we actually got our car. It actually came from a junkyard. Right. The person that was over our team, the adult, they went to a junkyard and found one, and we decorated as a bunny. So it had a carrot coming out the front.
This was in Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah. Y'all was somewhere else with it.
But it was so much fun. We used to have so much fun.
But this is that time in church when we are kids. Because you're probably talking about single digits right here.
Oh, yeah.
7, 8,
yeah,
9.
Yeah.
You don't know any better?
We had puppet shows and
exactly
all that stuff.
and the fundraisers, and somebody at church would have fish fries and all these days selling food. And then don't forget the main thing, the food after church.
Right.
See, you remember where Tabernacles is, right? So if you're going up Mentor and you get on the side, that's a basement down in the back. So you go down there, they would have food, stuff like that. Plus that was a hangout for the kids.
Yeah,
we would lie like we got to use the bathroom and then and do whatever.
It's crazy, huh?
But that was the younger years.
Oh yeah.
That was when.
When did it change?
After I got baptized.
Then that's when did you join the choir?
No. We didn't have a kids choir. I'm gonna touch that.
Oh, is that when you had to usher and stuff like that?
The ushering started. I started to get a little sour because of BTU, was that Bible Training Union. I would have to go there on Thursdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays in the evening. So I'm tight the whole way. And when I got baptized, so where the choir is at behind the pastor, the pulpit, that floor comes up and it's actually like a little
pool.
Well,
ours didn't come up. So it was behind the choir stand.
Right.
But it didn't come up. It was there. And they would feel it when it was time for the baptism.
I guess. I mean, I'm traumatized by this, so I don't know. I just remember, I've always been a person that held everything inside. So there were other kids. And it's a shame because I don't remember. The only person I remember is the guy I told you the other day. I think they said he just got the coaching job at Alabama A&M, Cedric Pearl. Congratulations to that guy.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. He is the only one that I remember from church. I mean, there were some girls, but I don't remember their names and stuff. But the way it worked, you said y'all had the soul van.
It was called the soul buggy.
The soul buggy. So what we had was one of the members, a retired school teacher named Miss Leathers. And now that I'm saying this, some names are popping up. But before Sunday school, she would go around Selma from whatever neighborhood picking people up.
Right.
And I remember, right off the top, I remember Crystal Dozier. I don't know if you remember that name.
I do remember that name.
I remember her. They used to get her from Lakewood. I don't know who they got first, me and her. But it would be other kids in the car. I mean, she probably remembers names, but I'm so funny style and weird back then. Like, I'm in my own world. Yeah. You know what I mean? But she used to come and get us, and I used to always be upset about it because Lost in Space comes on at 7.
Oh my goodness.
Sunday school starts at 8. Miss Leathers will come get me around 7:50. How do I say this without disrespecting the Lord?
You wanted to stay at home and watch Lost in Space.
I was always missing the end of every episode of Lost, and I was tight about it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it was. Like, she would pick us up, take us to Sunday school. We would do Sunday school, and then we would get out of Sunday school around 10:30, somewhere around there.
Did y'all have a snack?
I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
So then we would go outside. It was all these kids. I don't remember any of them. But down from Tabernacle on Broad Street, there was a donut shop. And you go in there, you got a dime, you get a donut. And usually around that time, I'm standing outside waiting for my mother to show up.
Right.
Because church getting ready to start. And then she would do whatever she do. Church got out like 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. And then we would go to my grandmother's house and eat. That was my entire Sunday. And when I got older, I started bucking it a little bit.
Of course.
I don't want to do that.
I never did, but I mean, I could see you doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But I never did.
I had other things to do.
I absolutely loved going to church. I loved it.
I mean, in the early years.
I loved it.
Let me tell you about a situation where Miss Leathers, she kept showing up around that time. I'm going to give you my narrative on it.
Okay.
She kept showing up around that time. So one day I said, you know what? She's just going to have to wait. So I'm sitting there watching Lost in Space.
Mm-hmm.
My mother is in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Leathers, bum, bum, bum.
Mm-hmm.
She was a nice, beautiful, quiet lady. She, didn't get upset. I came outside at 8 o'clock.
But Sunday school started at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So, she was like, looked at me like, you got to come outside on time. So after Sunday school was over, Reverend Anderson, LL Anderson, didn't they change mentor to LL Anderson?
I think so.
They changed it to his name.
I think so.
I still can see the guy. Like I was telling you the other day, I remember how he smelled, what cologne he was wearing. I was fascinated at one point with the little handkerchief
that he used to have in his...
After he finished preaching, how he would take it out of his jacket and out of his suit jacket and wipe his forehead, whatever. But he came to me after Sunday school and he was, hey man, you got to be on time. All right. But me being who I am, that's not going to get through to me. So next time I did it. He pretty much came to me and said, you're going to get your ass whipped. I heard that loud and clear. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even though in my head, it's like, it's a man of the law. He cussing me. But now that I think about it, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
It don't.
You a child.
Right.
Right? Oh, one more thing. Beneath 12, your name is Master Southpaw.
Okay.
13 and up, Mr. I was stuck on that too. I got to get this Mr. title. Like Master, everything was Master Southpaw. Okay. So when Miss Leathers, that's why I brought her up, she was the one that got me to do the speeches or play a part in a play or sing along with something. And whenever she would write stuff on the paper, my part, she would put Master Southpaw. I thought that's cool, but I need that Mr. You know what I'm saying? But that's church. The memory of church as a child. I didn't really know if I wanted to be there or not, but when I was there, I made the best of it as far as friends and listening to sermons. You got any funny stories about church?
Funny stories?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I can't think of any funny stories. Like I said, we really had a lot of fun. I can remember being in children's church singing the Father Abraham song and the Hallelujah, 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 praise ye the Lord.
Right.
And we would split the room into different sides and you had to see who could sing it the loudest.
Okay.
When you got about 50 or 60 children screaming at the top of their lungs.
Right.
I don't even know how those adults handle it.
They doing what they do because now
it was just crazy.
We're gonna get to this later.
Right,
you were being indoctrinated.
I guess so.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter as long as you were up there participating.
Man, that stuff was crazy.
Yeah. You see, with me, when I started bucking the system, let me say that again. When I started bucking the system, or I refused to be indoctrinated, whenever my mother was in the choir. Whenever she got away from me, I sat where I want to sit. I don't remember if you remember this song by Ice Cube and Mac 10 and Dub C. I'ma smoke what I want to smoke.
Yeah.
I was saying, I'm going to go where I want to go.
Oh, okay.
So I would sit in this pew, that pew, next to somebody I ain't supposed to sit to. I don't remember who the kids were, but and she would be sitting in that, in that choir, just staring at me like, yo, I'm really going to kill you when we get out of this church.
Man, that's funny. My mom didn't sing in the choir, so I never got that stare, but I know that I gave that stare to my kids.
Oh.
Because I've always been in the choir as a grown-up, right?
Right.
And so I can remember being at Fort Gordon and being in the choir stand. And
they acting up.
Chevette and Xavier.
Right.
Shakaya, no, because she would sit with Connie. I can't think of Connie's last name now, but for some reason, Connie loved her some Shakaya. And she would keep Shakaya with her throughout the whole service. So, but I'm in that choir stand and I'm looking at Xavier and Chevette just cutting up, on the Sundays that they didn't have children's church, because they had the same thing where they would take the children down to the other church, and it was just down the sidewalk.
Right.
And they would have service down there. But on the days where they was in church with everybody else, even though we had service in the theater on post. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can remember giving them those stares like, wait till after church. I'm going to beat the hell out of y'all.
I would use it to my advantage because remember, after church, we would leave and go to my grandmother's house. Mm-hmm. Ain't no beating over there because I'm grandmama baby. At the time, the only grandchild.
Well, that didn't work at our house.
Well, I would go there, and instead of me, kind of falling back in the cut and realizing that I got away with it, I would taunt her even more. And my mother would be like, "Oh my God, I'm going to kill you." So one day,
Mama Ann.
One day, I just pushed it, and I remember my grandmother, "You ain't putting your hands on that baby." Da, 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 da.
You ate that up, didn't you?
And then she would go into other stuff. You should have put a bigger jacket on him. It's cold out here. He all gimli. I don't know what that means to this day. And I remember my mother's like, "Oh, okay." Mm-hmm. So we got in 74. You know what 74 is?
Yep.
East Side Cab. 8747. Well, 44780. 744-780. I forgot the number. That's the East Side Cab number.
Right.
Give him a little shout out, like quick.
East Side
Cab. But so what happened was, we get to the house, and I thought about it. Mm-hmm. I said, "Oh my goodness, I am solo with a maniac." So she goes in the living room, and I can hear her kick heels off. If you know what that means.
Yeah.
Dum.
Yeah, she kick her shoes off.
Oh my God, I better get it together. Think fast. I heard like a thud on the floor. I know what that means. Mm-hmm. So my mother would hide switches in multiple places throughout the house. Under the couch, under the bed, in the closet. Uh-huh. I mean, I've even walked in the bathroom one time to use the bathroom, and the tub was loaded with switches.
Oh my goodness.
This is premeditated murder, is what I call it. But anyway. So I said, "Oh my God, I got to do something." So you don't run away, you run too.
Right.
So I ran too. "Ma, I got something to tell you." And she was like, "I don't give a damn. You want to show your ass?" You know how they talk. And I was like, "Oh my God, Ma, I got something to tell you." Whap! She hit me with a switch. Should I say where? Oh, it doesn't matter. Around the neck, that's abuse. And I don't know if you ever been hit with switches before.
Yes, plenty of times.
What they call it, a welt?
A welt. Mm-hmm.
Welt.
Or whelp.
A welt.
Welt. It's welt.
Welt, right.
Yeah.
But with switches, it'd be a welt with little cuts on it. And I'm like, "Oh man, she's trying to do this." So I ran to the back. She chased me. Whop, hit me. Ran to the front. Whop.
Did she tell you if you would just stand still, she wouldn't be hitting you all over the place?
I'm not going to stand still. It's virtually impossible.
Okay.
I've had a cousin where I went to their house, Prince, my cousin Prince, Martinier, and his mother told him, "Take off your clothes and lay across the bed." And he did it. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, "Nah, you got to earn this thing. I'm not doing that." It goes so
much quicker and easier.
Nope.
You only get hit in the one place instead of having it all around your legs and everything.
Yeah, but you know what? Those kids right now probably have permanent marks from that one place.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so I'm running back and forth from my mother. But what am I doing?
Tying her out?
I'm looking for the Bible.
Oh my goodness. What for?
Because I remember that Reverend Anderson said, when a kid is of a certain age, they don't know any better. So I need this to back up my research.
But the fact that you was looking for the Bible to quote that scripture tells her that you knew better.
Okay, this is young years.
Right.
I'm not into it. I'm just looking for something so I can cite.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So I'm looking back and forth. I'm running and she hit me. I'm looking. There it is. I ran past it like 5 times. I guess my blood pressure was high. So I grabbed it and now I'm standing still. So I need you to imagine this. I'm standing still,
Mm-hmm.
and she's whop, whop, she's hit me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm focused on flipping these pages. My mind is trying to draw back because when the pastor starts to preach, it's a little like a board thing on the wall where it tells you where he's at.
Right.
And what hymn is going to be sung,
right.
what page is on.
Right.
I'm recollecting.
You recollect?
She went, wow, wow, wow. She hit me.
Uh-huh.
And she just stopped and said, what in the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, my Reverend Anderson said, and I'm trying to find it in the Bible. She just started laughing and go, boy, sit your ass down somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because it saved me, but it didn't.
It did save you because it could have been worse.
I tried, to talk like my mother now, man. Lord knows I tried. But when I told her that, she was like, you know what?
She was like, this little boy right here.
Going on about your business. But you know what, Boosie? Those are the good times.
It was.
Those are the good times in church, and those are the memories that were forged between, food and friends and learning. You learning vocabulary. Mm-hmm. And the last one, you start to learn people. Right. Let's go, Boosie.
Right. But you know what, though? When you look back on it, it really did lay a foundation, though.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
You don't think that it's doing it when you're going through it, but when you look back and you can say, I remember when I was in church and I learned this and I was told this and I was shown that. Mm-hmm. And it really does lay a foundation for who you become.
On both sides.
The rest
on
of your
both
life.
sides.
Yeah.
Not just on the side of, I learned everything that was so precious. You also learned the nonsense, which is where I want to go.
Go ahead.
Okay. My first exploration into nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
The young man that I mentioned earlier, Cedric, that I told you is coaching Alabama A&M now. He had a uncle named Billy. Mm-hmm. Billy Dixon was his name. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly where he had been. I think it might have been college. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But he wanted to start a choir that sang more contemporary music. Right.
And what years was this?
This was in the 70s.
Okay. Late 70s, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the church pushed back on that. Mm-hmm. They wanted to keep doing hymns. Mm-hmm. On solid rock I stand. You know that song? Mm-hmm. Things like that. Mm-hmm. You were singing one the other day.
I was?
Yeah, you had said, because you was like, I don't remember the name, but then you was like, it's the church that they sing at the end.
Oh, the church that they sing? The song that they sing?
Yeah.
Right,
song.
right.
What was it? Oh,
I don't even remember
but
now.
But anyway, those type of songs, it ain't no bounce to it.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do the Hawkins stuff. Various songs that were out at the time. Shirley Caesar was out then.
Shirley Caesar out now, but I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, but all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's one song. Oh, Soon and Very Soon. That's the first one. Soon and Very Soon. They wanted to do that. I didn't see a problem with that. I'm going to hurry through this because that's not the main thing, but that was the beginning.
Right.
Why the pushback? Why do you think?
Because they want to keep things the same way.
Yeah, but life is progressing. Things are progressing.
But you have to remember that the church is steeped in tradition.
Right.
So they want to keep the tradition the same.
And that's okay. But it's just like with me and you, if there's a disagreement, we talk about it, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to say something like, you've been getting on my nerves for 2 days, but we talk about it. Right. Mm-hmm. But when
I wish they could see my face right now. Okay. I wish they could.
But
go ahead.
When they just slam the door and be like, nope.
Right.
And then it gets petty where you have older members of the congregation talking about younger members. Now, here go the kicker. Here's a transition. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not about the music anymore.
Nope.
It's about you as an individual.
Right.
Oh, look what she got on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy,
They
isn't
come
it?
up here and want to do that. I learned that in church.
It's crazy, isn't it? So then it's like a big contradiction. And that's when you learn that people are not who they pretend to be.
Nope.
You know?
No.
Because you're saying, because we're sitting up here in church and you're teaching me
The word of God, supposedly.
Right. Love your neighbors.
Oh, did I say supposedly?
Turn the other cheek.
Right.
Be forgiving, keep an open mind, don't judge.
Fairness.
Blah, 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 and all that. But then when someone does something or introduce something that you don't agree with, all those things go out the door. But then you're telling me not to do it.
Right. And not only is it that, did it happen?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying every church.
No.
Right. Where I was at, not only did that happen, but the separation began to become more obvious.
Mm-hmm.
There's a haves and a have-nots at
Mm-hmm.
church. There are people that have better jobs, better situations in their life, better homes, cars, versus the people who need a ride to church. The people that work at the candy factory. They're not school teachers,
right,
or city councilmen,
right.
And I started to notice that.
See that separation
on first Sundays. Instead of seeing white uniforms, now I saw the haves do everything.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Because there's a first Sunday. Those are the people that were prominent in this church I'm at. Then there was second Sunday. I think that was men or women. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Most churches kind of follow the same thing. So isn't fourth Sunday like normally men's Sunday?
I thought it was mixed on that day, but it's either second or the fourth. I think one was men, one was women, and the third were the kids. I'm not sure.
Right.
But what I'm saying is I started to notice these things, and I started to notice positioning and seating in the pews, and who sat closer, who sat far in the back. And I started to see that if a new person came in,
they had to sit in the back.
Yeah. But we talked about a similar situation where someone came in that wasn't doing so well in life, you know, and the people looked at him like, what's he doing here?
Right.
Now, you had an interesting story.
Which is crazy because that's what the church is for.
That your pastor told the congregation.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because that's what the church is for. It's for those people who are down on their luck or whatever, and they came in to get a word or, you know, fellowship or what have you, and you can't turn your nose up at them,
right? And which is dope.
Move away from everything. That's because that's what the church is for. It's for that.
Now, don't get me wrong. Within the church, there were people like Miss Leathers and different other names that I mentioned earlier that they did what I say today is God's work. Elandius got laid off from her job. Miss Leathers gonna come over there. You want me to? She's gonna come. She's gonna bring food. Right. You gotta go somewhere and search for a job. She's gonna bring you a paper. She's gonna give you a ride. Right. That's the way.
That's the way I feel the church should be.
But we get into that. Okay. I'm talking about this. Not to cut you off, but I didn't want to get sidetracked. The sour stuff. What I started to notice was in the parking lot because people were getting in cars leaving. Me and my mother was jumping in a cab. So sometimes I would be like playing with the other kids and running in between the cars. You'd be surprised what you hear.
Oh, yeah.
From people talking about what somebody had on, how their kids look. Horrible.
Crazy, huh?
I was totally confused at that point. Right. Because in those younger years where it was just like donut, Sunday school, lost in space. I got to throw that in there. Lost in space. Innocently, I was looking at this thing with virgin eyes. Right?
But then when you get older.
Oh, yeah. 13, 14.
And you start to understand things more.
Yeah. And it's like, whoa. So I go to church with this kid, but they live in a big brick house. And blah, 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 which doesn't matter. I am not saying something bad about somebody because people went out and did what they had to do. Right. But when you carry that and you look down on people
who don't have the same thing that you have, that's crazy.
It's not cool. And I have gotten some chastising. So I've got a few hits
Mm-hmm.
over it because I used to be, Ma, do you not see this?
Right.
When at the same time between Raymond, James, Tyrone, I didn't really hear that about Ebenezer.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like everybody was on the same level there. I don't know because I never went.
Mm.
It seemed that way.
Mm.
But that's where things started to get a little flaky for me.
Okay.
In the end, right before I stopped going,
Mm-hmm.
we had an interim professor,
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Clay, or
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Clay as we called him. Not to get into too much detail, first person I seen wearing a kente cloth.
Mm-hmm.
First person that actually talked about nationality within the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
First person that ever gave me a book to read other than the Dick James spot,
Mm-hmm.
which was, he gave me a book called Black Presence in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
where you were able to look at names and figure out what tribe they come from.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, like Kedar. When you hear the tents of Kedar, they black.
Mm-hmm.
You better believe it. Or where Moses was born at. Well, I don't even want to get into that, but read the Bible, see where he's born at. It'll change your whole perspective of it. But he touched all that. But, and I know that he's not here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they use his sexual preference as a weapon, I did not like that.
Right.
I didn't like it. I'm a kid, but I didn't like it. Never did anything to me. He was always pushing me mentally to think about what it is you're reading. So when Reverend Anderson says this, right, he's right. But learn how to put you in that, your people, because they telling us we ain't in it. That is dope.
Yeah.
And we talking about 70s, 80s.
Right.
Right? He's doing it. He lived right out in Lakewood.
Right.
Right? And once they started coming at him, and it wasn't even coming at him like
it wasn't
direct.
Right.
It was talking behind the back and doing little foolishness.
Yeah, more subtle things.
That made me mad. So that's where I jumped out at. Do you have a situation where you might have said, you know what, I'm going to back up off this place?
Not because of that. I mean, because I've always been active in the church. I've always went to church. What stopped me from going to church was Lucius dying. And I didn't go to church for almost 10 years. Almost 10 years.
You lost your faith?
Yeah. So it wasn't anything that anyone did in the church. It was that, I guess, because I mean, when he died, I was 19? So I guess still being immature in my faith, not understanding, because what I didn't understand is why. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's when I stopped going to church, and I didn't go to church for 10 years. You
needed to.
Yeah, because I'm like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then when I got back in the church, and it was Judith Augustin, First Lady Augustin at this time, because her and her husband have a church in Augusta, Georgia. We lived on post. Her husband was in the military, and I was in the military. And we lived in a duplex. So she lived next to me, and she would ask me every Saturday, Denise, you going to church with me tomorrow? And I'd be like, no. And then one Sunday I did go.
Right.
And I can remember they played, the choir sung, "Every time I turn around, God's making a way."
Right.
And that's when I was like, you know what? It's time for me to come back to church.
Let me ask you a question. So we did a podcast on Chevette and how she was treated in church. That didn't sour you?
It upset me because the people in the church, but the fact that the pastor
did not
said something to the congregation and everything, that's what kept me from being like, you know.
And And that's where I wanted to steer you.
Right.
See, as I got older, I realized it was the people, right? It's just in my situation, the people were something else.
Right.
They were lofty. They were sitting in a higher place and looking down on the people that didn't have what they have. and that really soured me. But I'm grateful for that because, like you said, the church is a cornerstone. I'm grateful for it. I'll tell you why I'm grateful for it.
Okay.
It forced me to look at other stuff.
Like what?
Islam.
Okay.
It forced me to look at Judaism. It forced me to look at Buddhism. It forced me to look at the other side too. You know, it forced me to understand what ma'at is. Or some people say ma'at. I don't know why.
Right.
Ma'at. It forced me to look at that. It forced me to read those stories in the Bible a little more meticulously. It forced that to the point where I feel like today, and we talk about a very long journey with that, with me and Doug used to just, we went there with it, like trying to figure out and joining certain organizations. I've done that. I don't want to mention their name, but I had joined an organization where you had to come in the order of the oldest thing is Judaism. So you had to learn that first.
Right.
Almost speak the language. And then next was Christianity. And then the final thing was Islam. You had to learn all three of those. And the reason being is because how can I talk to you about what a Christian is and what you're not doing if I don't know what a Christian should be?
Right.
Right. So you needed to learn all that. But Tabernacle Baptist Church pushed me into finding that with people, memorable people that I met, like Reverend Clay or Mr. Clay. So I guess all that happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Another thing, and I'm sure you're the same way, just because you talk the talk don't mean you walking the walk.
I know that's right.
Because you hear some hallelujahs and this and that.
Oh, yeah.
And they be the most petty, funny style people ever. Now, in our last few minutes before we get off this podcast, and the reason we did it, but we sort of took people down our journey and what it is and how we feel and how we think. You can hear our voices saying this. I feel that the position of the church in the community is not as strong as it used to be.
Right.
I feel that the church is the cornerstone. It's the rock.
Right.
Like the record, like the song, the solid rock.
The solid rock, yeah.
On which what?
Which I stand.
On which I stand.
You know, I think that some churches have become more of a business than a refuge, if that makes sense.
Oh, refuge is a great word. Yeah.
You know, and I know that it takes money to run a church. It takes money to have a hospitality team, to, you know, provide lunches and stuff like that and loans and stuff for the members. But I think that a lot of churches have gotten away from that, and it's not about the members as much as it used to be.
Yeah, but you pay your
your tithes.
How you say that?
Tithes.
TH.
Yes.
You pay those. That's what that's for.
Yeah.
Right? That's what that's for. So you just mentioned something. Like, this is why, hey, Joel Osteen could be outstanding. T.D. Jakes could be outstanding. But because of how I was raised and how my experience in the church, I'm always watching them with one eye open. Right. Like side eye.
And like I said, you pay your tithes, but the thing is that they have bigger churches now, and you know, so with that comes utility bills and, you know, all kind of stuff. And then some of the staff of the church are paid positions. So, you know, it's like different things, but
crazy.
But they shouldn't, I don't think you should never get away from taking care of your members and the community. I
had a situation with a church somewhere where I was at. Won't even mention their name because it ain't worth it. You just said a position. They brought someone in to basically market the church. I'm going to let that float in the air for a minute. Market the church. Bring in more members. Social media wise and all that. Let me explain something to you. Why would you bring someone in and pay them a salary when you could have took Miss Southall over here in the corner, who's a very intellectual person, and kind of like let her do it and figure it out as it go, which would probably help her beyond the church.
Right. It's just crazy.
It's crazy.
You know, but yeah, I feel the church is the cornerstone.
Yeah.
And that's where we get our foundation.
Yeah. Somebody get locked up, Reverend, good doctor, whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a pastor could walk up in there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because when Xavier had got first arrested in Watertown, Pastor Butler, who was our pastor, he would go and visit Xavier.
Yes.
Yeah. So
when people are having hard times, you know, I don't want to get into history. You're going to save that down the line. But I will explain to you that when I was doing my little studies about history of the world, a lot of people don't realize the reason why Christianity became so popular. It was because of the charity. Judaism didn't have the same charity. I'm not going to get too deep into it. But if there's a widower and her husband passes away or whatever, Christianity had set up a situation where they took care of her.
Right.
When in Judaism, it wasn't so easy.
Right. So basically, we're in agreement that the church is the place.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Take care of the community. I mean, the members and the community.
On down to even if your kid is having a problem reading, and there may be some teachers in church, and they take it upon themselves.
Tutoring, yes.
It's a community.
Yeah.
It's a rock, right?
Yeah. That's solid rock.
Yeah. So because
it's a representation, right?
Right. And when I don't see those things happening, it sours me. It turns me off.
Yeah.
I'll say this and then we can get out of here.
Okay.
It's never a theological debate.
Right.
See, it could go on and on and on about what's real and what's not.
Right.
What's valid.
Right.
What's invalid.
Right.
We're talking about a church that stands up for its community.
There you go.
That's it.
Right.
You agree with that?
I agree.
Anything you want to add to it?
No, I think that covers it, man.
I think that's where it should be. I'm going to force you to like really open up and talk sometimes.
I do talk.
Yeah, you hold back.
Oh, my goodness. Come on. Let's go.
Okay. Well, in a nutshell, we are in agreement that the church has a role in the community, especially the Black community. I'm going to say that. We didn't talk about back in slavery times and what this and the singing.
I just feel like a lot of churches need to step up.
Yeah.
They need to stop playing church and be the church.
They need to stop playing church and become it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we out of here.
We out.
Can I do that?
Yep.
We gonna rock with this theme. Let me tell you something, because that's what we talking about. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
And I'm tired.
Me too. I'm a little sleepy.
It got to be by 11.
Well, 11:20 to be exact.
11:20.
Yep.
So we'll see y'all on the next one.
We out.
And we are out of here.
It's Al Milan. Got to be more careful.